Hello, today I'll be reading the first part in a 5-part series entitled The Case of the Vanishing Treat by Susie Hart. This is a newsletter exclusive story, meaning it is not on any platform, and I am reading it with their permission. Chapter 1 The Missing Treat. Snowball skidded to a halt in front of his food bowl, ears perked and tail wagging like a windshield wiper on high speed. Pure anticipation. But something was off. He stared at the spot where his chew bone was supposed to be. An empty space. He blinked, then blinked again. Gone? He whispered, nose inching closer to the bowl. He gave a cautious sniff, but there was nothing. No aroma of savory goodness, no trace of the treat he'd been dreaming about all afternoon. His tail drooped like a wilted flower. Impossible. He left it right there. Right there! Up on the windowsill, basking in a patch of sunlight, Cinnamon stretched luxuriously, her ginger fur glistening. She eyed him lazily. What's with all the theatrics? My snack! Snowball exclaimed, nudging the empty spot with his nose as if the bone might magically reappear. It was right here, and now it's gone! Cinnamon yawned, flicking her tail with practiced nonchalance. Maybe you ate it and forgot. Wouldn't be the first time. He gasped, eyes wide with shock. I would never forget eating a snack, especially not my favorite chew bone. Indignation radiated off of him as he began circling the bowl, sniffing every inch of the surrounding floor. No crumbs, no lingering scent, just a whole lot of nothing. This is a crime, he declared, paws planted firmly. An outright theft. Cinnamon arched an eyebrow, finally showing a hint of interest. A crime, you say? Yes, someone has stolen my snack, his paws shuffled anxiously. And I'm going to find out who, she sighed dramatically, hopping down from her perch with the grace of a feline who had all the time in the world. Fine, lead the way, detective dog. Let's solve this mystery so I can get back to my nap. Just then, a faint rustling sound drifted from behind the couch. Snowball froze mid-snoop. Cinnamon's ears perked, her eyes narrowing. They exchanged a glance. They weren't alone. That was the first chapter of the Snowball and Cinnamon detective series entitled The Case of the Vanishing Treat. Thanks for listening. Catch you soon with the next story. Hello. Today I will be reading the second part in the 5-part story entitled The Case of the Vanishing Treat by Susie Hart. This is a newsletter exclusive story, meaning it is not on any platform, and I am reading it with their permission. Chapter 2 The First Suspect. Snowball crouched, ears twitching. Did you hear that? Cinnamon flicked her tail, eyes half closed. Obviously. A rustling came from behind the couch. The dog sniffed. Something was there. I'll flush them out, he whispered, muscles tense. You? Cinnamon arched a brow. You're as stealthy as a stampede. Snowball ignored her. This was his moment. He lunged forwards and crashed into the couch. It shook, sending dust flying, making him sneeze. Cinnamon sighed. Brilliant strategy. Shaking off the dust, Snowball checked between the wall and the couch. Nothing. The intruder had vanished. Then he spotted a crumb on the floor. A clue! He nudged it. Proof my snack was here. Cinnamon examined the evidence. This just proves you're messy. I know who did this already. Do tell, detective. Snowball turned, grave-faced. The vacuum monster, Cinnamon snorted. You think the Roomba stole your snack? It's always lurking, he said, eyeing the machine in its dock, waiting to strike. She rolled her eyes. Fine, let's go interrogate it. Snowball poked the Roomba. Nothing happened. Shocking, Cinnamon deadpanned. It's a machine, not a mastermind. A shadow moved across the kitchen. They froze. That has been Chapter 2 of the Snowball and Cinnamon detective series, entitled The Case of the Vanishing Treat. Thanks for listening. I'll catch you soon with another story. Hello. This is the third chapter of the short story called The Case of the Vanishing Treat by Susie Hart. This is a newsletter exclusive story, meaning it's not on any platform, and I am reading it with their permission. Chapter 3. The Stakeout. Snowball's ears shot up. "Did you see that?" he whispered, eyes wide. Cinnamon's golden eyes narrowed at the shadow darting across the kitchen floor. "I saw something," she replied skeptically. They creeped forward, Snowball tense and alert, Cinnamon moving with a practiced grace. Moonlight filtered through the window into the dim kitchen. Accompanied only by the refrigerator's quiet hum, Snowball sniffed dramatically. "The thief is close! I can feel it!" he declared, nose twitching. Cinnamon landed silently on the counter between the toaster and the cookie jar, scanning the room. No forced entry or disturbances. They must be hiding. "Then we wait," Snowball said, determination glinting in his mismatched eyes. Cinnamon sighed. "A stakeout? Really?" "It's the only way," Snowball declared, flopping dramatically on the floor. Cinnamon settled on the counter, watching as Snowball, conspicuous in his white fur, stared at the cabinets, fridge, and too quiet toaster. Minutes ticked by. Snowball fought sleep, his head bobbing until soft snores escaped. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Snowball jolted up. "What was that?" he yelped. Cinnamon's ears perked towards the fridge's baseboards. Tiny feet pattered against the tile. A brown blur holding a dog treat shot across the floor. "The thief!" Snowball howled. Cinnamon pounced, but the culprit darted under the dishwasher. Snowball scampered uselessly on the slick floor. "It's getting away!" Cinnamon's tail flicked angrily. "Not if I can help it." And that has been part 3 in the Cinnamon and Snowball detective series entitled The Case of the Vanishing Treat. Thanks for listening. Catch you soon with the next story. Hello, today I'll be reading the 4th part in a 5-part series entitled The Case of the Vanishing Treat by Susie Hart. This is a newsletter exclusive story, meaning it's not on any other platform, and I am reading it with their permission. Chapter 4. The Unexpected Twist. Snowball skidded across the slick floor, paws scrambling for traction as he rounded the corner. "Where'd it go?" he barked, eyes wide with excitement. Cinnamon crouched beside the dishwasher, eyes fixed on the tiny gap beneath it. "It's in there," she whispered. "Trapped." Snowball bounded over, his tail wagging so hard it threatened to knock over the broom. "Ha! We've got it cornered!" Cinnamon shot him a withering look. "Unless it knows another way out," she said, dryly. He blinked, deflating. "You mean a secret escape tunnel?" She sighed, slinking forward, nose twitching along the baseboard. Swift as lightning, she darted out a paw, hooking something small and round into the light. A half-chewed dog treat rolled out. Snowball's jaw dropped. "My snack!" Before he could snatch it, Cinnamon swiped again. Another treat appeared, then another, and another. Soon, a small pile of missing goodies lay before them. Snowball's eyes grew round as saucers. "That's where they've all been going! This isn't a one-time crime. Someone's been stealing for days, maybe weeks." Snowball sat back, realization hitting him. "I knew I wasn't eating all my treats too fast," he muttered. Before she could respond, a tiny brown blur shot out from beneath the dishwasher, clutching a stolen treat. "It's making a run for it," Snowball yelped, scrambling to his feet. Cinnamon sprung into action, claws flashing, but the thief darted past them through the crack in the wall. Snowball's ears flattened. "No, we've lost him." Cinnamon sat back and began grooming her paw, unruffled. "For now," she said calmly. He stared at the crack in the wall, his mind racing. His precious snacks had been fueling a fugitive? This has been Chapter 4 of the Cinnamon and Snowball detective series, entitled The Case of the Vanishing Treat. Thanks for listening. Catch you soon with the next story. Hello, today I'll be reading the final part of the 5-part series entitled The Case of the Vanishing Treat by Susie Hart. This is a newsletter exclusive story, meaning it's not on any platform, and I am reading it with their permission. Chapter 5, The Big Reveal. Snowball lunged at the wall crack, clawing at the baseboard. "Come back with my snack!" he shouted. Cinnamon watched, bored. "Think that'll work?" Her tail swished lazily. He collapsed. "I'm desperate!" His eyes darted to the recovered treats. Cinnamon inspected the pile. "We got most back," she said, analyzing the biscuit. "But it still has the last treat." Snowball's tail thumped. Cinnamon crouched, focused and ready, like a seasoned hunter. The kitchen grew still. A pause. A tiny nose emerged. Cinnamon struck. The mouse fled, treat and paws squeaking. "Hey!" Snowball chased after it. They raced through rooms, nearly toppling a vase, circling furniture in chaos. The mouse leaped for the bookshelf gap. Time slowed. Cinnamon's paw flashed out. The treat spun upwards. Snowball jumped, mouth open. Chomp. He landed hard, but victorious, treat between his teeth. The mouse vanished as Snowball jumped up, tail whirling. "Case solved!" Cinnamon stretched up on the windowsill. "Partially solved. The mouse is still out there." "They'll return?" "Definitely." He straightened. "Then we stay vigilant. The household mystery detectives never rest." "We'll work on that name," she smirked, turning away. Snowball didn't care. "Cinnamon?" "Thanks." She opened one eye. "Don't mention it. Things were getting boring anyway." Snowball settled down, basking in the sunlight, content. Until next time. The end, for now. And that was the 5th and final part in The Case of the Vanishing Treat of the Cinnamon and Snowball's Household Detective series. Thanks for listening. Catch you soon with the next story.